And we are live. Hello, hello, hello. So we back. We
Hey,
back at another What Would My Daddy Say show. So just a little funny thing. So we had it scheduled for 9 o'clock. And of course, I sent a message to my dad, and he like, daughter, it's not coming up. It's not coming up. And I'm
right.
like, okay, get in my car, go over to my dad's house, and guess what? Press
Came
the
right,
link.
came right up.
And it came right up. He's like, I don't know how that happened with your daughter. Oh, because of my presence. So we might
That's
have a
right.
guest come in because I think my aunt is coming in.
Mm.
And and so we're gonna have her come in. But Daddy,
Yes. Hey,
Delaware,
y'all. Hey, y'all.
Franklin Smith. We
Yes,
just
ma'am.
had some holidays. We
Hmm.
just had I mean it's the holiday season.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's right.
So this is the time like a lot of emotions come up, a lot of stuff come up for people. This is a big time for people in relationships. This is a big time for people who not in relationships. This is a big time for people who have suffered loss. It's just a big time
Yes, ma'am.
and season.
Yeah.
And we're coming on the end of a year. And so
Yes.
a lot of times people start to think about, man, I'm at the end of the year and I ain't do what I said I was going to do at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Or changing stuff. And so
Right.
this week for me personally, and so to let the audience know, I'm Sheila. I am a therapist and the creator of the Stop It Now framework, where I help people stop doing the things that's stopping them from accomplishing the life that they want, the desire that they deserve. And I do that in different ways, like through therapy and coaching and things like that. And then, if you guys don't know, this is my daddy
That's
because
right.
outside of that profession, right, I'm a real woman, right,
Yeah.
that go through things.
Real.
And so I often seek, my dad for counsel and just to get an opinion. Now, we don't always agree,
That's right. That's right.
right? We don't always agree, but it's just good to have like an opinion from an honest place
Hmm.
from a person who I know loves me and have my better interest in head. And so he wanted to kind of write a book because we would go into these deep conversations. And I was like, well, how about we just do a show and I just share you with people because I think when my friends see our relationship, dad, and people see ours, it's like, man, you guys have a really good relationship, and I have to attest to that. And if you don't know about our relationship, then go to the YouTube channel,
That's right.
subscribe to Shaping Solutions, follow us, get the alerts, and then hear about our journey under the show Family Matters, and you'll see why this is even more impactful, right?
Amen.
So how you doing, Dad?
Hey, babe. Hey, 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 all. It's good to be here this evening, babe. I thank you for this opportunity. And listen, I wanted to share one quick thing with us. A friend of mine had posted something the other day like this is December. The book of Luke tells us about the upcoming season, about the birth of Jesus, and why the book of Luke, all 24 days up until the birth of Christ, is important. So she challenged everybody to read one scripture every day from the book of Luke, and you'll do all 24 chapters leading into the 25th day of this month. And I think that will be something impactful for all of our audience to get into, and just I challenge them just to read a scripture every day this month, just one scripture of Luke every day.
Well, I think that's interesting because I think people don't know. Me and you also have these conversations about like
The
religion and
word of God,
God and
the
who
word
is
of God.
God
That's
and
right.
just the word. And those are good. And I think we're gonna start those probably in a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but today's show, and I do
Mhm.
I agree, everybody read a chapter of Luke, especially individuals who's seeking
Yeah.
answers, right? I
Yeah.
think
Answers
yeah,
and awareness. That's right, babe. That's
awareness, right? But before we go into the show, hey, you guys comment, like, share, ask questions, right? So
right.
this may not be a conversation for you, but it may be a conversation that'll help somebody who's like you, help a friend or a family member, then just help us, right? I
That's
just
right.
met with my marketing team I called my daddy yesterday. He was so happy. And so we was like doing the analytics for all the shows. And she was like, oh, the What Will My Daddy show is just really, getting some good reviews. So, so you'll definitely see more of this show come on. And, we talked about why is this show so critical to this environment, right? To the environment we in. And I think it's so many levels. One, relationship with the daddy and daughter, the male-female dynamic, just answering questions that it's in people's minds, but they're not really thinking about it, right? Hey, Dale. Hey, Tamika. And so, yeah. So today's show topic is what if?
What if?
What if? And I said this because this week we're talking about interactions. So if you guys are not following me on the YouTube, I have a show called Elevating Life. And life is an acronym, love, interactions, focus, and energy. And this week we talked about interactions, right? And I find myself as a therapist, I find myself as a woman, I find myself as a human being, sometimes in this space of what if, right? Like, what if I was this? Would that had happened? What if this? Would that had happened? And the issue with that, Dad, is that it doesn't really give credit to the present moment, right? It doesn't really give credit to who we are and what we are. However, I feel like a lot of people function in this what if space, particularly men. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. My daddy's show, right? Huh?
Okay.
I'm saying, so it's like what if I could do better than her?
Yeah. Well, let me say this, babe. Here's the thing in this walk of life, the what ifs and the why nots and the whys is because here's my take on it. I think we have no matter what we go through in life and how it starts out or how it ends up, it's always, to me, everything we do was what we're supposed to do. It happened for a reason, and it should either better us, make us better for doing it, or teach us how not to do certain things. I just think that when we do those things, though, and questioning ourselves, I don't think questioning ourselves is something we should do, because if you did something and it was bad, then you don't do that no more. But if you did something that was good, then you will enjoy and you will try to expound on that more.
Sometimes we do bad things that's not good for us, though. We can do bad things, but they feel good. You know what I mean? We know they're bad things, right?
That's right.
It's bad. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but it feels so good, though. So it doesn't even become a lesson or a blessing, right? It becomes a hazard, right?
Because if it's bad, that's right.
Keep doing the same thing that we know ain't good for us and feel good, but now we're doing it. And then when it stopped feeling good, it then became a habit. So now we're drawn to it just from our human nature. Have you ever been in that situation, Daddy?
Yes, ma'am. Listen, the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak. It'll do some things. The flesh does what feel good. I'm glad you said it like that, because that's the flesh for you. We do what feels good, not necessarily good for us,
right?
But it feels good to us. So we'll play into that thing. And listen, you have to be careful because the flesh is weak, babe. It'll make you do some things that don't line up with that word, and sometimes you get caught up in that thing, and it could be a bad situation. Now, you said something a second ago about it's not good or bad. I mean, it's good. It's not good at all, but it also could be dangerous because it's a bad thing.
Right. Or it builds a habit. So you may think you do it one time and it's like, oh, it feels good. Then you go the second time and do it. Then you go the third time and do it. And then, before you know it, now you got the habit of just doing this thing that you shouldn't do, but it feels good to you. And then it's like, and again, back to my title, the what if. And I think that sometimes we live in this world of, what if I had more money, right? What if if my body was a different shape, would he love me?
I got you.
Huh?
Well,
what if I bridled my mouth? What if I
yeah,
had the thing to just like not say, like, Sheila,
yeah,
just
yeah. Well,
what
you
do you like
remember,
more?
but you remember me and you had the conversation about being who you are and don't cheat yourself now. Do you enjoy you though? Say what you feel, speak what comes to mind. Be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of, people talk about the power of the tongue, but
Mm-hmm.
listen, the tongue could be dangerous. You could say some stuff that's hurtful, but
Mm-hmm.
if you are mindful, and the point that I want to make here is, man, you talk about us deceiving ourselves or deceiving others, then we're not being honest with ourselves or our friends or loved ones, whatever the situation is. If we are deceiving somebody, then we're not being fair to that person or ourselves. We want to always try to be us, though, babies. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And how is that though? How can we? And this is again why I'm saying, read your phone. This is why I'm saying it, because how difficult it is to navigate that space of being me. And I want
Yeah,
to talk about this because, one, and you hear me say this all the time, we are unique, right? So there's
that's
no other fingerprint like mine, no other iris
right.
like mine, no
That's
other,
right.
if I was in the space, you would know Sheila was there by my DNA. But
That's right.
that's a like a journey to climb to try to be you. When you thinking different than everybody around you, and you
Mhm.
expecting different than most people around you, why is it so challenging? And then when we start talking about this thing of relationships, I feel like, and I'm gonna say this honestly, I feel like a man has a very dormant
Okay.
type of demeanor in relationships. Like, okay, well, I got her now, so I don't have to do the things that I once did to get her. And then if
Yeah.
I speak on that, like, hey, we ain't been out in a couple of weeks, or hey,
That's right.
then it's like now I'm the problem, or like, oh, that's an
Mhm.
issue, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it, but it has caused issues in the past. And I encourage my clients, because I do it now. So let me say this. Now I have great interactions with men,
Right.
right?
Because you
But there
speak.
was a time I did not have great interactions with men. There was a
That's
time
right.
where I felt definitely like I was I don't know what to call it. Like, okay, what is going on and why is this happening? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but then I learned to stand up in this truth of me. But that was like steps. Like, I feel like I was lifting weights trying to just be me. So what is that, Dad?
Well, I want, now let me say this about a man. A real man. See, a lot of men are intimidated by or a confident woman, I would say. A
Mhm.
lot of men are, and I would even go as far as to say a weak man is intimidated by a confident woman.
Okay.
But a confident man is not going to be intimidated because the lady is confident and independent. See, that's where we have came up short as men. We want to be the ruler of everything, and honestly, babe, just like you said, honestly, men have dropped the ball. We don't have the
Consistency.
wherewith or the
Consistency.
or the know-how. I'll say more like the know-how to really encourage or uplift our women and teach them, or try and encourage them to go along. Even speaking your mind. Say what you need to say though, and be
Mhm.
be confident when you say it. Don't be afraid to tell a man that, I don't like how you did that. Or you talked about this the other night. When you're in a relationship, if you can't talk to your guy and y'all can have
Mhm.
a decent conversation and disagree with one another, then something is wrong with that though.
Yeah. It is something wrong with that. Now, how many times though, as women, and women, let me know, make comment for me, because we got my daddy online. He gonna let us know how many times as women though that we have felt like we had to autocorrect, right? Or
Yeah.
that, and I'm asking because you a man, and I'm sure that you probably played this game before.
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
you like made the woman feel like, oh, you know, you in error.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But you will make her feel like she's in error. So
Yeah.
now as the woman, we're pondering, so how can I say this thing differently?
That's right. That's
Or
right.
how
That's
can I have done that differently? Or should I have even said anything? Or am I wrong? Is she calling her friends and her mama and everybody trying to get advice? When you know that you were the person that was in the wrong.
That initiated. That's right.
Yeah.
Listen, once again, men are devious in that we'll try to throw that off of us and put it on you because listen, it's hard to accept wrong now, even when you know it's the best way out, but it's hard to accept it or too hard to admit it because you feel like it's going to cause problems. Now listen, it's some real clever men out here that'll try and throw that off, and then we have some women that'll allow that to happen because if you stand up in your truth, though, babe, I can't do nothing but accept it. I mean, listen, we talked about this the first show we did. We talked about if you say something that I don't like and it's gonna cause me to run off, then I wasn't for you in the first place. So you did good just to speak your mind. Be bold. Be bold. I mean, you can go boldly to the throne of God and talk to him about anything. So why would you be able to talk to a man and tell him that I don't think that's right?
So I'm gonna tell you why. Because he's cute. He's cute.
Okay. See, yeah.
And I know you're finna tell me that but I'm telling you, like and I'm just gonna speak for me and the clients I've served, and I'm gonna be a voice for them. And it's at the moment we're selfish, so I'm only thinking about what I want.
That's right.
I had a show yesterday, and I said at 20, do you know my two criteria for a man was that he had an education and he came from a 2-parent home. That was it. Like I wasn't thinking how affectionate he was. I wasn't thinking how loving he was. I wasn't thinking how responsible he was. But because I had came from a broken home, and because I didn't have both of my parents in the house, I just figured, oh, I want him to have a college education and to come from a 2-parent home. And to me, in my mind, that addressed everything.
A lot.
And guess what? I attracted that man. And then I realized like
that ain't all. That's right.
Like, no. You come from a 2-parent home. Like you're supposed to have.
You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know that.
This, that. No, you're educated. Like you're supposed to know. And what I found out is that we are on this journey, and no matter what your education level is, and no matter what kind of home you come from, you still have a personal thing.
That's right.
That a personal journey that you're taking, right? But that was my only 2 criteria. So I'm gonna ask the women, what is your criteria for a man? Because I've upgraded my criteria, but at that time, it was just that. And now I think I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be vulnerable in all my intelligence. For me, like I don't even want you to be my man. For me, at this point, I just want to see you. Like, who's man? You know,
enjoy you. I just want to enjoy you. Yes.
For me, it's just like, who are you? Like, let me see you. And I'm saying, let me see you in your vulnerableness. Let me see you in your strength. I want to see all of you before, not all of whatever you have access to, right? Because whatever you have access to, that's who I'm going to. That's the person I'm getting, right?
Okay. Here's now listen, you covered a lot in there, babe, but listen. So let me say about a boy becomes a man. So he's in a 2-parent home. First of all, he's probably gonna be spoiled rotten. So now he meets a girl, and because he's been catered to all this, because he got mom and dad both babying him and pampering him, and most dads try to be firm with their, during my married days, I try to be firm with the boy and let mom teach the girls how to be what women's supposed. So
you got that type of mama that's like,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
letting
kind of
daddy.
passive, kind of passive, kind of passive. So,
Or no, the type of mama that's not letting the daddy.
oh yeah. And the point that I wanted to make though is that man that comes from that home. Now, just say he's seen an abusive dad, or he's seen a dad that wasn't an on-hand dad. Then a lot of people, babe, they forget that our role models is right in the house with us. The things that we see at home, that's shaping us. That most of us get our shaping from home. We get that. We watch mom. You watch your mom. You watch your dad. You learn their habits. And if you had a dad that was on hands, go get it, went to work, made sure all the business taken care of, then you would, most guys would follow that pattern. And the same with women. If you had that on hands dad that, okay, the homework is done, the house is clean, the things that we supposed to be teaching.
Yeah. But do you know
that's your foundation?
But so Dad, so let's talk about this. What if more mothers, so this is a what if conversation. So what if more mothers allow men to father their children?
Yeah, they would need that. We need that. Especially our men, babe. I mean,
father their men.
Yeah. Especially our men, our dads. That's why our boys have fell short at though, because our dads don't teach. They see most dads feel like if I can't have that woman, hell, I don't even want the babies now. And that's not how that's supposed to. Listen, that's your child, just like it's that woman's child. No matter what you and that woman go through, you're supposed to still establish that relationship with that child and try and teach them the best you can to grow up to be productive citizens, whether it's teachers, preachers, police, whatever their endeavors is, you want them to be the best they can at it. And the best thing is educated, of course, being educated. That stuff. Nowadays, that's all parents ask of their children, really, because modern technology now has taken over the world. So all they have to do is go to school and get an education. That's all. Parents don't even teach anymore, though, babe.
But I think you made a good point. So you said that, that a dad, if it falls out with the woman, then he's out of relationship with the kid. Why is that though? So why is it that he doesn't know that even though I'm not with her, I have a responsibility to my kids? And let me give it the other side. For the woman who feels like, oh, me and him not together, he's dating another woman, so now he don't have access to the kids. So where did that dynamic come from, Dad?
That's child's play to me, babe, because listen, and I use, I came from a 2-parent home. I mean, I had my first 2 babies came from a 2-parent home. So here's the thing. I never had a dad in my life. So as a dad, when I became a dad, my thing was to make sure that I was in my children's life. I wanted to be a part of whatever, no matter what happened with me and the woman. Now, this was me. But here's the thing, babe. Most men, for some reason, they feel like, and then listen, you get into these relationships with that jealous woman over there. I heard somebody say the other day that my man can have 5 babies, but only 2 baby mamas and stuff like that. So if you got a mate or a boyfriend, girlfriend that ain't into raising kids the right way because they're worried about that ex or that past relationship, you got a problem, babe.
Okay. So Dale said, Mr. Frank, what if you're a stepmother or a stepfather? Is it difficult to be a part of the other child's life?
I don't think so. I think that's will be because that still becomes part of your. If you're with a man or a woman and they have children, you automatically going to be a part. If you're the right kind of person, if you're the right kind of female or male, you should be willing to. Now, I don't say come in trying to take over that child's or take that other parent's place. Not that, just being a part of nurturing. I don't know if anybody paid attention to this Shaunie O'Neal
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal thing here recently. You know, she's
Shani O'Neal
remarried.
got married to the
Yeah,
new
to
guy.
to the
Yeah.
preacher. Yeah, but so my point though is we got to learn how to be. We have to learn how to be flexible, because if I got kids and you got kids, I want the same thing for your kids that I want for my kids.
So hold on. So Tamika said, for me, you have to love and follow God first.
Okay,
We'll get to the rest. And then she said, you just have to start off right, putting him first, no religion, spirituality.
that's
Right.
right. I like that.
Now
I
let's
like
talk
that.
about this stepmother, stepfather dynamic, because I do feel like this is a big thing, right? In
Yeah, it is.
relationship. And
It's
one of the
very
things I
interesting.
can say is
Yeah.
that one of the things you have been able to do that is that, right? So even at 72,
Mm-hmm.
you still have a relationship with
Coming up,
both.
almost.
Okay, I'm so you still been able to hold a relationship with both, both of your kids' mother, where
Yeah,
like, and I'm gonna talk about the nuclear family. So you had a wife, y'all
yeah.
broke, yeah, but she still comes to every family event. Like
That's
the
right. That's right.
grandkids have been established. Now there's great grandkids that are established.
That's
And
right.
it's still like you two have a relationship. And for me, that was a model for me. So when I broke up with
Your
my
kids.
kid's father,
That's
it was
right.
just
That's
important because I'm like, no, it don't stop here. Like we still got
baby.
graduations
My
and
baby. That's right.
weddings and grandbabies. And so we
Mhm.
have to in some way work on our relationship. And my sister is the same. She has a kid's her
That's right.
daughter's father, but they
Uh,
still have a friendship where they support their grandbaby and you know what I mean? Their
No matter.
daughter and now the
That's right.
grandbabies. And
That's
so
right.
for me, that was definitely role model through you. And I
Mhm.
aspired to do that. So whatever I needed to do in that relationship with my kid's father, it was like I had that model. But what about the people who don't have that model for them? What about the people who have it
Yeah.
modeled that, like, well, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
done with her. So,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm done with
Let,
the family.
yeah. Let me say, so many people let the fact, like you said, I want that handsome guy. I don't care what baggage come with that. That's never a good idea, because
Very good idea.
nothing should trump your family though.
Mhm.
Nothing should trump especially your children. If you let a guy come in and he's more important than your children, then you really on the wrong path. And I would never ask any woman to stop being the mother to her children to please me.
Mhm.
Because if I want her, I want her children. This is how, real men and real women,
Tell
baby.
the real story because you met a woman who
I
had a
met
kid
her.
and you had kids. So tell the real story.
Well, when I separated from my marriage, it was, it took a minute, but once we got over that and I met
And you were in your
another,
30s. So you were in
huh?
your 30s at this time.
I was
You
in
in
my 30s. I was 35. Yes,
mm-hmm,
I was 30. But
mm-hmm,
when I met that new lady and explained to her, listen, my babies we have a bond that's weekend is their time, and so if you're gonna deal with me or you like me enough, then, and she had a son too. So we became, I like to use that picture, that Tyler Perry movie about the diary of I think it is Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That's the one with the bus driver in there. Yeah. So
mm-hmm,
the point being though is my babies love me and I
mm-hmm,
love them. And I'm
mm-hmm,
not gonna let no woman take the place of my babies. Now if she wanna love me, I wanna love her,
mm-hmm.
then we gonna come to an understanding. Because let me say this too, babe. Ain't no relation. You are my daughter, and I love you to death. But my girlfriend over here, I love her to death too, and I'm not gonna. It's not gonna interfere with one another.
Okay, so at what point though? So this is my second question. At what point do
Mhm.
your kids' opinions stop about who you date and what you're doing? Because I find that when
Yeah,
individuals get older
that's
and they
right.
move
That's
to
right.
date,
Yeah,
now you have adult kids that's
yeah,
mad at the
yeah.
mama or the daddy for dating different people or going and living their life. So at what point do you stop being obligated to the
So
kids
then, yeah,
and
yeah.
start obligating, to
your
yourself
family,
and how you
your wife and my kids grown now, so my kids are grown, so I don't try to.
About what age does that start? Because
I would say,
I know
I would say,
who still feel like they have a hold over.
Yeah. Well, y'all important to me. Y'all still, you 43 years old, but it's still important to me that my friends, that you be cordial with my lady friend or my wife. If I had a wife, I wanted you to have respect and respect them the same way that I would respect your friends in his family.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably after 15, 16, when you get into high school, y'all, kids get sick in high school. They old enough to understand what life's all about.
Mm-hmm. So
that shouldn't be no. Now listen, I dated and I told you this story. I dated a young lady that wasn't much older than my son at that time. It's been 20 years ago, of course.
Right.
But and we lived together. So my son was there, and she 5 years older than him, and he felt like he don't have to abide by her. Listen, when I leave home, she's in charge of this house. I don't care what you say or think. You's gonna abide by her rules. If you got a problem, you wait till I get home, you talk to me. But if she told you something to do that was, whether it's taking out the trash, whatever it was, you gonna do it though.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's a good time for a what if question.
Okay.
What if we had more people who was willing to allow the people around them to parent or speak into their kids' life? And I know this is kind of a shift, but
what
you said was, you had a woman, y'all lived together, you paid the bills, your son was living there. He I'm gonna say 16, so she's like 22, 23, you said 5 years.
That's right.
You left home, you went to work, you put her in charge. The son felt like, oh, you can't tell me what to do.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You came as like, establish yourself. But nowadays we find that it's like, you can't tell my kids nothing. I don't care if you living here or not living here. The parents, the grandparents don't have anything to say can't say nothing to the kids. The teachers can't say nothing to the kids. Nobody can speak on, the dynamics or whatever has happened to the kids, and especially when we start talking about relationships, because the likelihood of two people staying together to raise their kids nowadays,
you're going
to have to introduce a person into this family, right?
That's right.
So if you're introducing a person into this family, what is the rights that person have about the kids?
Well, if you my woman, hypothetically speaking, you my new girlfriend. I'm gonna gradually introduce you to my children. They're gonna know that my dad really into this lady. He likes this lady. You know what I demand of them for you is that they're gonna respect you as long as you respect them. Now, I didn't ask you to come in and be a mom. I just want you to give them the respect that they're gonna give you, because they're gonna give you respect. I'm gonna insist on that. See, that's where we mess up at, eh? We allow these baby mamas and baby daddies to dictate because listen, me and baby mama ain't together no more. She don't run this house no more. She run her house. So when my babies come to my house, they're under my rules. What I say go. What me and whether it's my new wife, new girlfriend, whatever. And this is where society has become so messed up, because some of these baby mamas, baby daddies drama has messed these kids up.
Well, so personally, and then I'm gonna tell you about a couple of comments. So personally, I have dated some men with some kids, and I, in my mind, have felt like them some little bad kids. Like it is like the way like the stuff that you allow them to do, and I'm allowing them.
We're talking about that.
You know what I mean? Like you an adult, and that's a kid. And the way I was raised from my grandparents, it's just like certain things you say, certain things you do, certain things you allow your kids to say and do. Now, y'all know I got kids. If y'all see my kids acting up, call me, because they ain't acting like that in my house, right?
That's right.
Now, but so in my mind, I'm thinking, man, if I took this outside of a restaurant or a phone call or a date, it may be some problems because
there might be some problems. That's right.
You know, and how do, as a woman, do I tell him like, yeah, like your kid is kind of disrespectful? You know what I mean?
Bad, that's badass. Yeah.
Like, so, and how do I communicate that to you? The other part is, so Dale said, what if you was disciplined different, but she won't let you put your hands on the son and his disrespectfulness, but you love her, but the older he gets, the tougher it gets.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm thinking that there's a male. So what if the discipline is different in the house and she won't let you put your hands on the son and he's disrespectful, but you love her, so you listen to her. But the older he gets, the tougher it gets.
The worse it gets. I don't listen, ain't no kid gonna disrespect me. Now I can love his mom and I can love his mom to the end of the world. But if we got that problem, we got that problem. And the use of me and you even trying, because listen, babe, this is what society has become now. It's so many, you know, it take a village to raise it. And any older people, any people probably over 50 to 60 going to tell you the same thing. We have gotten away from the tradition of allowing you can't even, your child can't even go to school and get chastised now without the parent heading up to the school to shoot somebody or whoop somebody.
You know, I'm not about like getting the belt all the time. So just the story that I want to share with the family.
Okay.
I discipline my kids differently. We actually counted, right? So you see how he laughing. You see how he laughing. Because he just felt like you such a weak parent. But I wasn't. I did believe that my kids have a choice. So I would count to 5. Like you get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I get to 5, if you didn't do what I asked you to do, because I need you to think about this thing. And then my kids also had a choice in what they wanted to eat. So one day we go to McDonald's.
Tell about your sister and your dad.
We go to McDonald's. And my son, like, I don't want that. I don't want no cheese.
Your 3-year-old son. Now tell him it was your 3-year-old son.
My 3-year-old son. And he's like, I don't want cheese. I want a plain hamburger. And just, you know, he knew what he wanted. And when I tell you, my sister and my daddy was so, what did you say that?
What the heck? Wait, this is a 3-year-old. This is a 3-year-old. I'm talking about, it was a big issue though. This boy insisted that I don't want that, and she debated with him like, okay, son, what? Man, all the way, we were in Alabama, all the way to Tennessee. we laughed at that because we never seen that before, though.
Yeah. So and they grew up with like, you gonna eat what I give you.
You gonna eat what I cook, or you ain't gonna eat.
You ain't gonna eat. And for me, I gave my kids a choice. And so all you talking about a whole conversation on the way. So I don't feel like, I feel like we discipline the way we discipline as long as it's effective and you get the results you want. But to Dale's point about, you know, what if you discipline different, right? I still feel like there needs to be some discipline in place. And then I think Tamika came back and said, back to her comment, we got to be on one accord. Like, you have to have a conversation, but why are those conversations difficult?
Yeah, it shouldn't be difficult, OT, because to me, like I said, if you follow, okay, and listen, I'm trying to use stuff that makes sense. If you follow Christ, and if I'm following Christ and you, my woman, you follow me, then the kids got to fall in line. It ain't going to be, because we are not going to do it wrong if we're doing it by the word. If we're doing like we're supposed to, a parent and a wife, a man and a husband and a wife, or a boyfriend, girlfriend living in the same home, they are in charge of that home. Kids take a kid's place. And if I'm with a woman that's not on one accord with me, and we got a problem with these kids, then we need not be together, because we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. But what if, you know, he paying all the bills?
Yes. Yes. That's the main reason for you.
You telling me I'm kicking him out? Because you telling me I'm kicking him out? He paying all the bills.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna kick him out because I'm gonna make my child gonna get in line because you ain't paying nothing here. You're gonna do what you're supposed to do. I ain't
Well,
saying
I'll give you an example because we do know a story of an
yeah,
individual who couldn't
yes,
keep their kid in line.
that's
And
right.
it was just out of line, and it ended up in a divorce of a
That's
good
right.
relationship and a good happy relationship.
Good happy relationship. That's right. Just mess that whole relationship
Just
up,
messed the whole relationship up
because
because there
that
was
woman would
no,
allow her child
yeah.
to be an unruly child walking through the house, talking crazy, doing crazy stuff, and it just see a real man not going to put up with that.
But he didn't put up with it, and he
He
was like,
did put up with it. Exactly.
"You
He's
gotta
not
go."
going to. He's
Yeah,
not.
and he
But
got to
then
go.
if that was on, if that's role in reverse, see, if it was a woman doing the same thing to a man, she wouldn't put up with that. I mean, I don't think there's that much love in the world for you to be misused by a child or abused by nobody's child.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's that important. I think you could go find you some. See, it's a lot of good women and men in this world, baby. It's a lot of good that wants to have a good parenting skill, want to have a good woman and a good family. And see, when I want that woman, I want her children too, but I want them to respect me because I'm going to respect them.
Mm-hmm. So, but what if I'm a woman and I didn't grow up with my dad, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not used to authority. And then the men that I seen that came into the relationships, when they got loud to
Yeah.
me, it was like a fight behind it or some abuse. And so now you come into my life and
Mm-hmm.
you have an authority, or now you ask me to give you authority over my kids, and I don't really trust men
Right.
in
Right.
general, right? Because
That's
the
good.
men
That's
I've been
good.
around
That's
have been
good.
hurtful or abusive or whatever. And yes, I'm hopeful that you'll love my kids, but with the social media and stuff, that stuff is going on,
That's
how do a woman let her guards down enough to even know, like, if this guy is
this. Yeah.
appropriate
Yeah.
for taking a role in the discipline, as a disciplinarian, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the house.
What have
But
I
my
told you?
relationship with men have been abusive. And what I'm hearing in social media is that, all of these people who, like, babies and died with the boyfriend and all of
Yeah.
this and all that
Yeah.
stuff is going
Yeah.
through my
Yeah.
mind. Like,
Yeah.
how do I trust my kids with my
Right.
mate?
Me and you done talked about this though, babe. Let me tell you something what you do. You know your child better than anybody.
Yes.
When your child is resenting me as your new friend,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm doing something that's not lining up. Children are so, especially just say from 3 to 10 or whatever. Just use that as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
And in that line, in that range, see, I win that child over before I even win that woman over myself because I know I'm gonna come in with that demeanor of being your friend first.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I ain't no child whooping me, ain't no child cursing me, ain't no child gonna disrespect me. Now, I'm not gonna do that to them. I'm not gonna do it to their mom, and they're not gonna do it to me. Now, that's just old school ways to me. Now you got some people that allow their children to cuss them and call them lies and tell them what they is and ain't gonna do. That don't fly with me now. I'm just old school, and this is just the real rules. And this society has gotten so bad that these kids do what they want to do. Now parents allow kids to raise themselves, and it's out of hand. It's out of control.
So, all right. So we talked about okay, you should already know that person well before they meet your children. And I would say that we should already know people well, but I do feel like there are layers to people, and how people are with adults and how people are with kids. Some people just not good with kids.
We're not
And I'm
good
going
kids.
to tell a man this, and I'm just going to be very clear. My kids have a father. So
That's
one of
right.
the things I'm not looking for you to do is be a father to my kids. But what
Exactly.
I need you to be is a support to me as a mother,
Well,
right?
That's
And what
that's
that looks like is like when me and my kid's father may disagree because I want the kids to do this, and now me and him are probably not on the same page, and he's irritated me, right?
That's right. That's
Let
right.
me now you talk to me from that masculine voice and teach me or help me to understand how to
Amen.
communicate
Amen.
to my
Amen.
kid's father, you know, what I think needs to happen or whatever. And so now we're gonna jump back to male-female dynamics, because it's like, so you want me to help you to teach you how to talk to another nigga? Like, it's like,
but that's that old child's play.
Like, no, that's not it at all. I'm saying what your support is for me at this point in my life is
and my man
become a better mother, and how you're helping me to be a better mother is how I communicate to my kids and how I communicate with my kids' father, right? And so as a consequence of that level of communication, and you're in my ear and saying, hey, Sheila, you know, I would have probably hung up the phone on you too. And just being real with me about, like, you can't come at a man like that, though, you know what I mean? Now, I have said men in the room together, like a man I was finna date and my kid's father, we gonna sit in this room together, because we need to have a conversation about how this dynamic is. I like that. You know what I mean? I'm about to date this guy. He's gonna be around. You need to know I'm about to date this guy, and this is what's going to be. And so we need to sit together and talk about how that's going to look. Daddy, when I told you that, what did you think?
Well, I said because I said that it wouldn't work for me, because well, you know, my daughter, now, baby, let me tell them about my daughter. My daughter has a unique way of doing things that most guys just, you know, she got like this magic wand she waving, these guys fall in line. They like, if they want that woman, they're gonna have to do what they're supposed to do, because she just got that, that ability to talk and tell them, look, my babies, these boys, she have boys too. And it's gonna be important that their dad knows that my friend is going to be around here, and he's going to be around. And these guys fell in line, and they did that thing. And I admired her, but of course I told I couldn't see it happening with me. But
so you couldn't see yourself now, as we sit here talking. So you couldn't see yourself if your ex-wife set you down,
right,
with the man, because she lived with another person, and like
she did. Now wait. Okay, let me just clarify that, though, because my ex ain't never had a friend that I didn't get along with. Let me say that right now. Yeah. But I'm saying we didn't have to be buddies though to get along, though, babe. That's another thing. I realized that my first girlfriend had a son, and I respected his dad could come and get him whenever he felt like it, come and sit there. Him and the mom could sit and talk about. First of all, I'm not insecure myself as a man. I think that's the biggest point, is insecure people have problems with the parent, the outside parent. They are insecure, so they worry about that. If you don't separate it from a woman 20 years, what the hell are you worried about?
Right. So it's a couple of comments that came up. So Dale said that's tough, because if he has a father and y'all handling things, and y'all handling things don't come to me when things go sideways.
Right.
Oh, I can't be there when it's good, and I got
Dale, that's right, Dale.
But so you saying, so what I just said about, me and my kid's father have a relationship, me and him fall out, then I come to you, Dale, if you was my mate, and be like, okay, I need to know how to say this thing. So let me clarify that. Whatever interaction I'm having with my kid's father, the person I'm with gonna know, right?
That's right. Good. I like that. You always do that.
So me and the person I'm with is having conversations together, right? Like, so and then I'm gonna call him and tell him this or whatever. Now I had to learn that though, right? Because I was the person that was like, I remember one guy I was dating, and Dad, you remember this? And I was like, me and my kid's father gonna have Sunday dinners, as a family or whatever. And he was like, and you didn't think to tell me that first? And in my mind, I'm like, no, my husband. Well, I'm gonna tell you that first. And two, this my family, right? My kid's father and me. So I had to learn how to even.
That's right.
Like how much do I involve the
my
person that
family,
I'm with, or
yeah.
the individual that and that
Yeah.
like at that time I'm living with somebody. So how do I involve a person that I'm living with in this dynamic of,
Yeah.
you know, my kid's father, who I do feel like is my family. You know what I mean? And at this point, it's about family for me, because
That's right. Yeah,
this
that's right.
energy.
Well, you at that age with your boys where you need that. Let me say this, babe. My future wife, my girlfriend to this day, my future wife, I want her to know, I want her to be able to come into my home and feel like she's at home. When she come here, she's in charge. Just like when I go to her home, I'm in charge. We're gonna make sure that everything is decent. And babe, it's just, listen, it's about respect and growth. Growth is so important in relationships nowadays. And I always tell you about the babyface Tracy Edmond Deion Sanders relationship. Listen, I want the best for Etta and her babies, because she all she ever been was good to me and my baby. So why wouldn't I want her to have the best? Now, that was a time that I didn't feel that, see.
Mm.
But I learned
But
that,
why didn't
listen,
you feel that at the time that you didn't feel that? Why didn't you feel that?
well, because I was young and foolish and jealous and thinking that, okay, because she ain't with me, she shouldn't be with nobody else and help raising my babies. And that just was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
all. You know, when you're young, you learn, though, babe, that listen, this person got a life to live too. Why would I want to stop her from living her life? I got me a new life going on over here. It's just maturity, though, baby, and it comes with understanding. Okay, she done moved on with her life. You didn't want her no more. He didn't want you no more. You didn't want him no more. So why are you worrying about who his new female or her new male friend is? But y'all worry about them babies. That's what y'all need to worry about, and what's best for them.
Yeah. So
And
I think,
what if you got somebody that don't understand that? Now listen, if there's one of y'all don't understand that, y'all might as well keep it moving, because y'all gonna have a problem.
yeah. And what's gonna be their biggest problem, Dad?
The biggest problem is them other baby mamas and daddies gonna get in there, and I ain't letting no other baby mama come in my house. My baby mama can't come in here and disrupt me and my female friend. I'm not gonna allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Was there a time that you would have allowed that to happen?
I ain't never, even when we first separated, she was made welcome at our home when she came to get the babies, or she came to drop the baby. Come on in, come on, sit down. This is Etta, this so that. I mean, it was Barbara at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm loving that you're talking about this level of maturity. Where does that come from, though? I mean, I think it's easier said than done. But you talked about in the beginning, first we make our habits, then our habits make us. And sometimes it just feels good to act an ASS.
But like I said, baby, it takes a woman time to learn how to be a woman, a wife. It takes time being a mother. It's steps that we take. We learn as we go, though, babe. But we learn, and then we learn what's good for. Okay, I don't want this guy no more, but he's my baby daddy. I got to have a relationship with him. He's going to be around forever because our baby is here.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't I be mature enough to? Why can't I be mature enough to talk with him, or to allow him to come and talk to me?
Why I can't be mature enough to do that? Because you broke my heart. And not only did you break my heart, you lied, because you could have told me what you told, whatever it was that you wanted. You could have told me that, and then I wouldn't even probably had the kids, or we wouldn't even been together. I'm just giving you the scenario of a lot of people who
a lot of scorned women have that problem. But okay, so let me ask you this, daughter. I'm asking my daughter now. Would you rather be with me unhappy than without me and happy?
I would rather be without you and happy.
Absolutely. All right.
Let me say this.
But
how many people don't even know that their happiness exists outside of this individual?
A lot of
feel like, or still have their happiness tied into
that. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of them, baby.
And how many people have the thought that, and if you ain't happy with me, you ain't gonna be happy with nobody.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, I'm busting windows out your car. I mean, we get that though, babe. But listen, so what? Now, I'm glad you said that. So, what would that prove to you, to go out and tear up my car, bust my windows, even shoot me, kill me? What did that profit you though? Just satisfied your mind?
It just satisfied like that. My hands got hot.
Yeah, but listen, I was watching.
No, I'm just saying. No, I want to answer the question for real, but I'm giving an answer that your hands get hot. But I'm saying, what I'm saying is, you only know what you know until you know something different.
That's right. That's right.
You only know what you know until you know something different. And if you've been taught that fighting for your man and fighting over your man is the way you show your true love for your man or your mate, or through this aggressive behavior, or if this man is the only, again, you're in love with the idea of his potential, you know what I mean, versus who he's showing up as, then that's all you know. So every behavior that you're demonstrating is based on this limited story of, if only we could do this, and if only we could do that, and if only we can have this. And that's why the name of the title of the show today is called What If? Right? Because what if he was this, and what if we can just do this, and then we can have the perfect relationship, or then we can be able to do these things, when the truth of the matter is, but you don't have that. Right? And the likelihood of you having that is a little limited. And so what if you just walked away and had a different experience?
Did you know, and let me just take 1 minute. I'm gonna share this. I need to share this with y'all, because you remember 10, 12 years ago, and I told you that you came to Alabama and I was living with a lady, and I think it was Uncle Billy's son. During that time, they was going through their troubles, hardship. But anyway, so I come back home from Michigan, and me had took my mom and my brother to the funeral, and I got back, and my lady friend says, "Babe, I don't really think this is gonna work." And what did I tell you? I said, "Okay, then I just wait till the next morning." I got up, and as a matter of fact, you was in your truck. I packed my stuff and I left, because so now let me say this too. So all of my friends was, you mean you didn't fight? You didn't ask why? Now listen, me and this lady had kicked it 20 years, and we always talked about, no matter what goes on, when we get tired of one another, just speaking, and we're gonna end that. So when she spoke that, she planted that seed to me that we ain't. She done already told me that she don't want me no more. Now, what the hell am I sticking around?
She didn't say that.
She said that she don't think it's gonna work.
She said, "I don't think this is going to work." Exactly. So let's talk about this, because this is what I told my dad. I'm like, so did you ask her? Did you have a conversation? Did you say, "Okay, babe, what's not going to work? Like, what more do you need?" I don't think that's a fight at that point. I think that's
not a fight. It wasn't a fight. It was, I'm gone then, because you don't think it's going to work. And I was gone, and I ain't went back. I didn't look back. I ain't called and try to discuss why. And I love this girl to death. And it bothered me for a long time.
And it probably hurt her too.
It hurt her because she hurt her because she said something, and we had already discussed that if that ever happened, we're not gonna prolong it. We're not gonna.
She had said it, because I do feel like sometimes we don't know how to communicate our needs either, right?
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Another what if we knew how to communicate?
That would have been better. Yeah, there's a better way to. I think it would have been because we had so much fun, and I thought I left. I moved away from Michigan to move with this lady just because she had told me that this is it, man. I think you're the ideal guy, and I know I'm the ideal girl. You make me feel that special, and then for you to drop that seed on me like that, though, you deceived me. Then let me get the hell out of here before this thing get me in trouble.
Deceived you though, Dad, or was she communicating a need? Now, so we had this show yesterday, and if you guys didn't watch, you can go to YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also click the alert button to get any alerts of our shows.
Right.
So, but one of the things in there was communicating and
Right.
like communicating your needs. But the other part to a healthy relationship was the ability to be flexible and to change.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
feel like sometimes in relationships, even let's even talk about sex, like that position don't work for me no more,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
That meal, if we talk about food, that food don't work for me no more. Like I
Exactly.
used to like fried
Exactly.
chicken,
That's
but
good.
now
I like that. I like that. I like
you
that.
know what I mean? The way you kissed me before, like I want to be kissed differently now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do we open ourselves up to the changes of I probably didn't like to be kissed in my ear before, but now I think I want you to come up behind my ear a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit. So how do it to make relationships sustainable? What if this is gonna be my question now? What if we knew how to be flexible
Mm-hmm.
change? Now, listen, the first time I may talk about my
Dissatisfaction.
challenge or my dissatisfaction, it may come out like
Yeah.
chitlins. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Okay.
Don't
I
feel,
like that. I like
you
that.
know
I
what I
like that.
mean?
Yeah.
Just, nasty,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Don't
it's
sound
good.
good at all.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's why I said chitlins, because I like, and I love it.
That's
But what I'm saying is good. I'm saying,
right. That's
now
right.
the issue is that as we start to practice communicating, because this is my first time talking about it. One, I got anxiety around it,
Right.
so it's not going to come out right. I guess that's what I'm
That's
saying.
right. That's right. That's good. You trying to
And I feel like a
figure
lot
the
of
best
times
way.
we practice this, trying to get this out
The
to
best way.
communicate,
Yeah. That's
but
right.
then there's no space for it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because what you heard me say and what
Yeah.
I actually said
Yeah.
was two different things.
Well, babe, I need to speak right there because let me first say, listen, I think maturity is the best thing. And let me say this too, babe. I think talking about sex and kissing and hugging and communicate to you in a way of expressing that I'm a little displeased right now with the way you kiss. You rough with me. You hailing me to. I think those are things can be worked out though. But when you come and tell me that you tired of me or you don't want me no more, now that's a bigger egg to me.
It is a bigger egg. But
Yeah.
what if I'm communicating and listen, so I feel like whatever happened in that situation, she didn't call you, you didn't call her.
All
And
right.
I'm
All
telling
right.
you from experiences, it's been times where I've told my mate I'm done, but I wasn't done.
It
I
wasn't done.
said
That's
that
right. That's right. That's right. That's
because
right.
it was like I needed them to know that I'm on
Mhm.
high alert. And if
Yeah.
this keeps going on, we can't be together. I just didn't know how to communicate
Right.
that other than saying I'm done. You know what I mean? To,
Okay.
to, to get a point of urgency across. Now, I don't
Yeah.
do that now, but I'm saying
Now,
that
yeah,
was in
yeah,
my communication
yeah.
where that's all I had to give. Like it's over. And matter of fact, I'm packing up my stuff and I
I'm
knew
done.
I wasn't done with the
That's
relationship.
right. That's
But I
right.
mean, literally, I done took my clothes, I done drove, I done came over to your house, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
But
That's
I
right.
didn't
You
have
did.
the language at the time to say what I needed. So that
Yeah,
was the only way that I could show that I
yeah.
don't want this anymore. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? I do
Can I
feel like
say?
it
Yeah,
was bad for the relationship, but
yeah. I think words hurt bad, babe. I think we could say things in it sound like you said the key word was to communicate it and how it comes off. Listen, words can be powerful. Listen, I love you, and I'm not gonna say, I'm talking about as my mate though, babe. I'm not gonna do things that hurts you or makes you feel and listen, you turn
I
me
know
on to
that.
a guy, R.C. Blake, that said, listen, support your mate, encourage your mate, uplift them, keep them happy, make them feel good. Do so when you say, but because words hurt, and when you say negative stuff to your mate, that becomes like a seed, though, baby. And just like you told me, you nurture everything we do, babe. We plant the seed, we nurture it, we
Yeah,
watch it grow. A
yeah,
soul will fester if you pick at it.
yeah.
When your woman or your man start telling you stuff that they tired of you, they tired of this, they look. your foundation is starting to get shaken. When your foundation is shaky, you might as well go on try to find you a new foundation.
And so you said this before, and as we go to wrap up, because we didn't hit our hour or whatever, and you guys let us know if you want us to stay on longer, or not, just in a future at a future time. But I think communication is so important, and what we learned that we don't have the level of communication that we should have, I think, is in relationships. I think relationships expose that.
That's right, too bad. That's right.
I'm probably not as good as a communicator as I could be. But listen, and I'm talking to the man. Now listen, though, if you love a woman, you can't keep using that excuse.
That's right.
Can't communicate though, and this is why you don't have the answers, or this is why you can't sit there and have a conversation, because you just never been taught. At some point,
you gotta come on, girl.
You're gonna have to go out and get the tools and the resources, or talk to somebody to see what you need to do to communicate to the woman you love. Now, if she just a bygone, you know what I mean, or hey, it ain't gonna be nothing. But the woman that ultimately you're gonna love her, or you're gonna want to love you, that excuse is just not going to work. And I find sometimes in even in counseling with men and women, in my past with males, it's just this excuse like, well, I just don't know how to communicate my feelings, or I just don't know how to communicate that emotion. And it's like, where is that coming from, Dad?
Okay, so babe, we're wrapping up, but I want to say I need a couple points. I want to make a point of this. Listen. So you're in a relationship with somebody that you're unhappy with, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it for you to be happy? Now, wait for you answer that one. And then, if you are unhappy with them, why would you stay there? And you're unhappy, it's on its way. It's just you're prolonging the inedible that's gonna happen eventually, because you are unhappy. And listen, it's just a matter of time. When you're unhappy, it's just a matter of time. And I believe R. Kelly, when a woman's fed up, it really ain't nothing you could do about it but get the hell on about your business. So, in saying that though, babe, listen, if I got a good woman that I love, that I want, baby, I want a little rest. I'm gonna fight for you as long as I can until you show me that my fighting is in vain. And I'm mad enough to realize my fighting is in vain.
I said, until she tell you she unhappy, and you gonna pack your stuff up.
Yeah. When she unhappy, she don't want me no more though. When she don't want me no more, my fighting is in vain.
With that, I just didn't agree with that move. But again, I feel like communication is so important. We can
poll our audience on that one sometime in the near future. Yeah.
Because let me say this. We have to learn how to communicate with ourselves, right?
That's right. You believe that too.
A lot of times we don't know what we need, and we're hoping that you know what we need.
In
some way, I don't really know what I need, but I'm hoping you come in and you tell me what I need. So the first level of communication is learning how to, what is it that you want. And I always tell people, if you can DM me if you want to get this activity, past, present, future exercise, something I do with everybody. And then now learning how to communicate amongst one another. And it's a big deal for people, Daddy, to just, as we started the show, who am I? How can I show up in my fullness of myself and accepting myself for who I am? And so the last question, we started off with what if, but what if you just was you, right? What if you was just honest with you?
I mean, just you.
Just honest and like, you know what? This is a red flag. I'm really not feeling you. What if you just every moment you just went with your gut? And guess what? If your gut led you
to say
a dead end, right?
Right.
the moral of this story is to build the relationship with you before you build it with anybody else, right? And know what you need to trust and not trust, and where you need to make the shifts in your own self, you know what I mean, before trying to trust everybody else, because everybody different.
Do you I know you're a social media person, but just in your daily walk right now, sweetheart, how many, I mean, and then we can go 30 years back to 1 year that couples are just falling to the wayside. Men are turning to men, women are turning, because relationships has gotten, they are watered down now. Couples don't know how to encourage, uplift, and honor one another for who they are, as you say. And you done told me this, and I'm twice your age, but you make me so mindful of how I say what I say, and being true to myself, and understanding that, listen, that person has a personality, or they has a certain expectations themselves. So I have to try to honor. So listen, I guess what I'm trying to say, listen, give me 50-50. I mean, give me what I give you. Give me a chance to show you who I am, and I'll give you a chance to show you show me who you are. And that way,
right.
Now listen, ain't no guarantees, baby. If it ain't working though, babe, ain't no use of you wasting your time. You done put 4 years in it, and it ain't went nowhere. Do you think it's gonna change?
I think a lot of people do, but let me say this. I think a lot of people do, and a lot of people put 9 years in it and 13 years. Like I was in the 13, but let me say this. I can't say this, and I don't even want to say like to my defense, but I was in a 13 relationship and we wasn't married. But I wasn't even looking to be married. I don't think that marriage
is for everybody. All right.
I don't think that was to me, the marriage was a celebration. Like, I'm like, okay, we need to kind of, I'm kind of happy we didn't get married, because I feel like the breakup would have been so much more difficult.
Cost so much more.
That wine. And I just wasn't thinking about that. I was in school, but I was thinking about other stuff. Like, I was in school, I was raising kids. I was like, so for me, it was like the type of wedding I wanted. Like, can we afford that? Yeah. So it was so many other things. But I do want to say this. Because we talk about social media making it so difficult for relationships and things like that. And I'm going to challenge you. I don't know if this is going to be a challenge to you or not. I can't tell you that my grandparents had better communication than we have now.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I can't tell you that I saw my grandparents sitting at the table and talking. You know, they talk about bills and stuff like that, but I can't tell you I saw them in love, or like working
on that relationship. That's right.
What I can tell you though is what I seen back then is that there was a value. There was these standards. Like, it was understood what a woman's role was, and it was understood at that time. Understood what a male's role was. And I can tell you that I saw two people who aspired to fit those roles.
Fight for each other. That's right. All right.
No, who aspired to. So my grandmother's role was to be a home, clean housewife or whatever, and my grandfather's role was to, provide and make the money. And so I saw two people aspire to fulfill those roles. Right.
All right.
Then,
time.
But then, like, what did it mean to be husband and wife? Now, those are as individual role. What it meant in my duty as a wife and what it meant in my duty as a husband, right? But what it meant to be husband and wife, I can't tell you I saw that, like affectionate or loving, or you know what I mean? I can't tell you that I saw the interaction between the two, but I definitely saw the roles, the task of roles.
They played that role. That's right.
Now, I think what happened with social media or with the new age is that it was like back in the day when you only had McDonald's, right?
That's right.
So
now you got McDonald's. I like that. That's good, man. That's good.
So I mean, you only could eat McDonald's. So what did you have to compare that to? You know what I mean?
Right.
So even if my grandmother had the desire for her husband to come home and rub her feet and do all of that stuff, she would have never voiced it because she probably never saw it and it never got talked about.
Never,
but in social media, now you can actually see a man come home, bring his woman flowers and all of this. And now that desire that's in a woman is like, wait, I'm seeing all of this on social media. Like, so it's a problem now because I actually have access to this behavior. I actually have access in seeing this thing being demonstrated on social media. So now I give myself permission to talk about it in my relationship. So I feel like, did my grandma desire to be loved on and, you know, maybe have more affection in that relationship? I'm sure she did, but I don't think she saw it. So she didn't have permission to talk about it. Whereas now I feel like there's more access to those type of behaviors being demonstrated. And so women give themselves more permission to desire those type of behaviors. And it's not an attack against men. It's just that, hey, man, you know, you have literally, you know, kind of went dormant for a moment. Like, and I always tell a man, you gonna pay bills wherever you go, right? So that's for me. I appreciate you paying bills, and that's a good luxury. But I'm gonna need you to take care of this vessel, right? This woman, right? Because she exists too. I like that. And so I just wanted to give that because I think that we have more access to experiences that we desire, and so we may speak about them more.
Let me get my final analysis on that. Is this now? Listen, you my baby, you my daughter. Yes. I want the best for you. I want you, and I tell you, are you going to ever find your husband? Now here's what I want to say to this. If you happy,
if you ever gonna find your husband, okay.
But now if you happy with this guy, and I done told you this, if you happy with him and you feel like he's making you happy, and you are putting up whether he's knocking you upside your head or whether he got another home. Okay, but listen, I just want to make a point though.
Okay.
Your happiness to me is the most important thing that I want from you. I want you to be happy in whatever it is you're doing. Now, if you're foolish enough to go out there and let somebody knock you upside your head, then I know you ain't happy with that anyway. So, in saying that, babe, be happy. Go out and enjoy life, man. Tomorrow, this thing called life is short, and unhappiness is unacceptable to me. It's just unacceptable. I'm talking about if my girlfriend I'm not happy with her, we're not enjoying one another, you just go ahead on and be happy somewhere else. Don't make me miserable. I can be miserable by myself.
Because what if you just told them? What if you just said, listen, I only get one life.
Right.
I only get one life and you get one life.
All right.
You know, and I think my role in this life is to find out what makes me happy.
What makes me happy.
I heard Steve Harvey say this, you know, there are some boosters in life. He talked about the rocket, and it's a booster on the back of the rocket, and that
makes that rocket go. That's right.
So much, but then it's gonna fall off. And sometimes you gotta be okay with relationships falling off, people falling off, things falling off. But there are some people that's not boosters. They're actually wings underneath your wings. And those are the people that I feel like is going to teach you how to communicate. It's going to be patient with you to sit there and understand, oh, is this what you meant? Or is this not what you meant? And I always say it's 3 types of relationships. One who have chemistry, one you have connection, and one you have chemistry, connection, and compatibility, right?
That's
so you
good.
Can be compatible with some people, you can have chemistry with some people, and you can have connection with people. And connection is the deepest thing because those are the people that come into your life to truly alter and change it.
All the time. That's right.
You know that I always love our conversations. I think that they were good. I just want to thank everybody who commented and shared. Dale says salute. People are still with their mates because of if they're with their kids, they're miserable. I agree with that. But some people ain't just stay in relationships because of the kids. Some people stay in relationships because they got a mortgage together.
They're scared to go. That's right.
They accumulated so much together that they don't feel like they can do it on their own. And and I'm not telling them to leave either. I'm just saying, hey, your happiness though.
That's right. That's all I'm talking about. Don't worry, be happy. If you happy, I'm happy. If you worry, be happy. But
But Dad, though, a person can't make you happy. And this is why I say, even
all
in
right, girl. You said now. You just said the whole thing. A person
your
can't make you
happiness is contingent on you. So this is my little plug. You know, I know y'all hear me talk a lot of stuff on here, but I'm a very proficient and effective individual in my life.
You
And
sure are.
I help people to really actualize or live the life they want to live. And so your happiness can't come from your job, nor can it come from your relationship. Your happiness has to be activated from within. And,
Yeah.
and then, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats. So when your happiness starts to rise, now when you start to rise and work on yourself, then you can notice the whole sinking over there, because you know you doing the things in your life that's making you happy. And a lot of times we allow our relationships or judgments of other people or kids or step parents or whatever to prevent us from, you know, really being our highest best self. But you only get one life. Do you agree with that, Daddy?
I agree with that 100%. And I told Granddaddy when my granddaughter got married, listen,
Look how
keep
you
other folks out of your business. If you and your man or you and your woman got a problem, y'all work it out. When other folks start coming into your space, you're gonna have a problem, because how you gonna tell me how to run my life and you can't run yours? So that's my tidbit, baby. I enjoyed you as
too. And hey, you guys, again join our Manifest You Life. It's at the 30-day affirmation challenge, which is www. I think .elevateherchallenge.com. I'm also doing the Stopping Now program, which is www.stoppingnowsolutions.com. So if you're doing any of these things and you want to stop it, I run that workshop on Mondays and Wednesdays. And if you're looking for just some support in your life or whatever, you can always contact me or DM me at I Am Shaping Solutions. And if you're looking for a mentor, a role model, you can always look up my dad. He's at I gotta put his little handle on there, but I think it's at Franklin Smith. You can DM him. He's always looking to give advice and things like that. I thank you guys. We love you guys. We hope that the conversation was impactful to you guys. And if there's something that you want us to talk about on the What Would My Daddy Say show,
let us know.
Let us know.
And then, babe, tell them, don't forget the one scripture per day from the book of Luke.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you do in the month of December. Start your one scripture a day from the book of Luke if you want to improve, you know, and how you see.
Just getting to know what life, what the season of giving is all about. Thank you, sweetie.
Yes.
God bless.
Right. Thank you, Dale. All right. We'll see you guys next Thursday at 9 o'clock. He didn't went off, but we'll see you guys next Thursday at 9 o'clock. Until then, you guys have a blessed week.